Let's talk about a very powerful tool in Photoshop. It's called Quick Mask. And to illustrate it, let me first say that Photoshop works on the principle that when you select something, then you can do something with it. So for example, if I take my paintbrush and I paint, you'll notice that it only paints inside the selection. I'm going to undo that. All right. So that's really an important concept in Photoshop. Make a selection and then you can do something to that selection. Well, the Quick Mask tool is a selection tool, and it's also another way of seeing a selection. So typically in Photoshop, the way you see a selection is with these marching ants. But sometimes those are hard to see. If I press the Quick Mask tool, and this is it, just right underneath the color swatches, you can edit in Quick Mask mode. And I should say it's a mode, not a tool. So if I click on that, basically it's another way of looking at what I have selected. By default, whatever is not selected turns red, and also your layer is going to turn a reddish color when you're in Quick Mask mode, and it will also tell you you're in Quick Mask mode if you look up here in the title of your document. The shortcut key is Q. So when you press Q, you can turn it off or you can turn it on. Now, a couple of other things about Quick Mask mode. When you are in Quick Mask mode, you can paint. And if you paint with black paint, you will add to the mask by default. So now that part is not selected. And when I turn Quick Mask mode off, you'll see that I've poked a hole in it. If I flip this around and I paint in white paint, then I have added to the selection and taken away from the area that was not selected before. So now if I paint with my paintbrush, you'll notice that I can only paint within the selected areas. I will undo that, Command or Control Z. All right. Now by default, if you double click on the Quick Mask mode button, you'll get this dialog. And these are the default settings. So the red color here, you can change to another color if you wish. You can change the opacity of the overlay. And you can change this to be selected areas show the color and everything else doesn't. And so if I click OK, you'll see that that has completely flipped around. So now what is selected is colored by the color overlay. You'll see that color is repeated over here. And what is not selected is in white. This is the way I prefer to use the Quick Mask mode in Photoshop. I'd rather see what is selected than what's not selected. And so let's take a minute and show you in more detail how this works. With what we've learned so far, we can use Quick Mask mode to quickly make selections and do things with them. I would like to color the eyes of this black and white image. The first thing I need to do is to make sure I can color it. It needs to be in RGB color or one of these other color modes. If it's in index color or grayscale, be sure to switch it to RGB. I don't want to actually paint on the original image. I'd like to save that, so I'm going to click here to create a new layer. I will switch that to color blending mode. So the first thing I need to do is press Q to go into quick mask mode. And you can tell you're in quick mask mode because this turns red and it says quick mask up here. So make sure you do that. Then I'm going to make my brush just about the size of her iris, and I'm going to click using black paint. Since I have this as being what I paint is the selected area, that is the selection now. All right. I do need to fix it a little bit. It's gone up into the eyelashes a little bit. I've done the iris, so back in quick mask mode again. I'm going to flip over to white paint by pressing the X key, click the black part of the iris out, and then I'm going to just use white paint. Bring the eyelashes back in. Press Q key again to get out of quick mask mode and turn it back into marching ants. Then I can pick the color that I would like the eyes to be. Well, let's do something really fun. I'm going to get the gradient tool and come up here, and I think I will pick a rainbow gradient. I will go from here down to there. Then I'll press Command D or Control D to drop the selection. I will take the opacity down just a little bit so it's not that strong. That's how you use quick mask mode.